Erling Haaland, a very, very prolific striker. One of the best striker in our current era, and arguably one of the best strikers in the history of the game. Erling Haaland is still very young. He's a very young man, and a lot of pundits came out recently and bashed this guy. And some of the pundits says Erling Haaland is not a big game player. And this statement was made after that humiliation against Real Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League round of 16 tie, where Erling Haaland was faced with two low-class defenders in Real Madrid compared to the first 11. Remember, Real Madrid played that game with 8 to 9 starters injured. So Erling Haaland had every possibility to at least put the ball at the back of the net once or twice in that game. But Erling Haaland was nowhere to be found. And a lot of pundits came out recently and said Erling Haaland is kind of a bit overrated. Erling Haaland doesn't show up in the big games. And I asked myself, is this true? That's why I'm asking you guys. Do you agree with this statement? Do you think Erling Haaland is a player that does not show up in big games? Erling Haaland, we don't know his prolific goal scoring chart with Dortmund. We all know Erling Haaland. His goal scoring chart when he came into Manchester City broke all records in a single season. He was once, don't forget, Erling Haaland was once considered one of the greatest strikers in English Premier League history. Erling Haaland was once compared to Cristiano Ronaldo, was once compared to Alan Shearer, was once compared to Thierry Henry. And we're talking about a guy who has scored more than 50 goals in a single season. Erling Haaland. And in that period, he scored against the like of Chelsea. These are not small teams. He scored against the like of Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, all these teams. He even won a Champions League. Scored against Real Madrid. Scored against Bayern Munich. Scored against lot of big teams. And you ask yourself, just because of what is happening recently with Manchester City, you're coming out and saying that Erling Haaland does not show up in big games. And I'm asking myself, I said, these pundits, do they actually think through things before they say it? Because I'm very sure I have one of the most intelligent audience, which I know by myself that my audience are very intelligent, and they give me a little bit of their thoughts on what we normally say here in this videos that I have already uploaded. And I'm bringing this topic because I want to know your opinion, guys. I honestly want to know your opinion, because calling Erling Haaland an overrated player who doesn't show up in big games is a very big statement. A very, very, very big statement. And I was so bothered about it. I said, yes, I have to bring this. I have to ask my people. Maybe I have one thing in mind, and some of you guys have some other things in mind. Maybe to me, Erling Haaland is not an overrated player. And to you, it might be vice versa. It might be Erling Haaland is very, very overrated. He doesn't show up in big games. It's a very strong statement to say for a striker who single-handedly took his team to the first ever World Cup, beating Italy, scoring a hat-trick in the game. Erling Haaland. Yes, he's playing in the Manchester City team, which have not been prolific in the last 2 to 3 seasons. People are coming out to say Pep Guardiola, his time is coming to an end. The City players, everybody that is playing in City at the moment, they tend to make mistakes. They are not at their level. We remember the City squad during that period Erling Haaland got into Manchester City. We're talking about De Bruyne, who is a massive instrument to Erling Haaland being called the prolific striker, because De Bruyne has left Manchester City, and it seems Erling Haaland has lost something very important to him. Yes, you could say that they bought in players, they bought in the like of Sheki, they bought in the like of Nico, they bought in the like of, many of them. But some of the players that played with Erling Haaland during that period are still there. Foden is still there. Bernardo Silva is still there. Rodri is still there. So we ask ourselves, is this statement something we should start thinking about? Because recently, Erling Haaland have not been prolific, most especially during big games. Yes, we could talk about Real Madrid. No, it's not just Real Madrid. Manchester United, he didn't show up. Chelsea, he didn't show up. Arsenal, he still didn't show up. Liverpool, which was supposed to be a team that is supposed to score at least 1 or 2 because they have a very struggling defense, still Erling Haaland didn't show up. And that's what I'm asking you guys. It's a very short video. Do you agree with the statements of the pundits that Erling Haaland is not a big game player? I'll be reading that in the comment below. We're on our way to 1,000. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Peace.